Hello everybody and welcome to the stream. You are first, Mike. Annoyingly, I had to just restart my computer. I was ready to stream on time, and then I had a webcam issue. Restarting the PC fixed it, but it meant obviously it took me an extra few minutes to get the stream ready. Excellent, Laser Point Productions, glad to see you on. I might take the PTM off quite soon though, because the lenses in this one are fogging up quite badly, so it's quite hard to read the chat. I imagine that smelled Alex. Notice that thing down there. Mike, if you're still on, start handing out timeouts to people that ignore the rules. I'll take the PTM off now. Because, as I said, that's quite uncomfortable. Having that on my head for too much. Oh, I won't bother with the hood either. But what I'll do is I'll have the regular thing on. Yeah, I agree. It'd be good for a killer outfit, wouldn't it? PTMs are quite creepy looking, as I said. I think people have said because they've got the Plague Doctor kind of look to them, haven't they? They are very good as dust masks, but as I said, they're not great if you want to be reading a chat where they're slightly fogged up due to the warm breath. Yeah, PTM masks are about £10 roughly once you have the postage. There's lots of like Estonian sellers and things like that, Lithuanian sellers that have them. Yeah, I don't know, I think the white one looks creepy as well, but yeah, that looks more surgical, doesn't it, the white one? This one is like a very dark green or dark blue. And yeah, I think that looks good like this. Webcam at the moment is a Logi, it's the 1080p Logitech one, I can't remember the exact name of it, because it doesn't say on the front. It's actually quite a good webcam, but the only annoying thing is it requires you to be using Logitech software as well as OBS or whatever. So there's like two bits, and then sometimes they don't talk to each other, which I had to restart earlier. Halloween isn't really a big thing over here, Victor, to be honest. Maybe eBay, Lennon, I don't know. I've got a rehearsal tonight at 8 PM, so I'm just going to be doing this stream for over an hour. This might sound a bit silly. Oh, thank you very much, Laserpoint Productions. Cheers again. And yet, don't forget to like the stream, everybody, because it does help out. But yeah. What was I going to say? Some of you won't believe me when I say this, but I felt a bit like an old person earlier because I had a daytime nap. Because I've been getting up early and trying to, readjust my body clock. Over an hour ago I felt really tired, so what I ended up doing was just having a nap for like 40 minutes in the dark. But yeah, as usual in these sort of streams, I'm not going to keep repeating myself when people ask the same questions over and over, so if I'm not answering your questions, it's probably nothing personal. It's just that on some streams I get like the hobbies question on nearly every stream, so I just tend to ignore them now. Yeah, it's strange, Mike. It's very rare I will have days where I do have a nap, but now and again I will. It's generally if I've had a day where I've had to get up really early in the evening, I sort of crash out a bit. But I think today it's because I generally like to always have a lay-in the day after I've worked the weekend. Today I didn't have a lay-in. I got up at 8 AM, which isn't obviously early. It's not like getting up at 7 or 6, but most days I've been getting up at 7 or 6 recently. So you know. That's an interesting, Alex. How did you get the Swiss filter airtight to it? Yeah, I've got a coffee at the moment in the themed merch mug. Links below if people want to buy it. Also, for any of the people that donated via Super Chat yesterday, obviously Laserpoint Productions, this doesn't apply to you because you're already in the Discord, but those people, if they contact me, can have a Discord link. I think I forgot to mention that to them yesterday. Right, hopefully your stream isn't lagging, because on mine it keeps sort of doing a timing thing for every few seconds, but... Yeah, but 40mm NATO and GOST aren't the same thing, Alex. Swiss filters are 40mm NATO, GP5s are 40mm GOST. But I suppose if you did the filter up tight enough, it might not really matter just for bad smells. Right, that's good, Mike. It might just be the internet at my end. I think it's stopped now anyway. I think it was just where it was stuttering a little bit earlier on. Depends on the mask, Sir Roofington, but something like a GP5 if I've got it next to me a few seconds. Because all you're literally just doing is that, to put it on. Obviously if it's a mask with straps, then it would take longer. Now I wish I did still learn a lot, but I don't have a bunker. A frozen energy drink sounds horrible. Oh, I don't know, some of those energy drinks might make good like ice popsicle kind of things if they're you know, like really sort of sugary fruit flavours. I imagine they would be quite nice as like a frozen little, you know, like dessert kind of thing. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, the other interesting thing is, I was saying this to a few people, but I was right. I thought there might have been some lead in the back garden from when we changed some roof tiles and had to take a bit of lead off, and I found the lead now. So I've put the lead on the back porch, and what I'm going to do is at some point I'll film a video demonstrating how lead blocks gamma radiation. Because people were asking, you know, about like Chernobyl sort of liquidator improvised lead armour and all that kind of stuff. So I'll actually be able to demonstrate without the Geiger counter, putting the Geiger counter on one side, putting a source of gamma radiation on the other, and you'll see that nothing gets through it. You'd have to actually put what they are then, Jacob, because I have no idea what that is off the top of my head. I've heard of those sort of things, but you'd have to specify actual things. Don't know what you mean. Oh, I see you're talking to somebody else to learn a lot, because I was a bit confused then. British World War II helmets aren't too expensive. You can sometimes get those for like £20 to £30. But they're very simple helmets. But yeah, things like German World War II helmets have a massive price increase. Well, as I've said over and over and over again, Flux Gaming, the masks and military I get depends on what I can spot at a good price. I'm not going to pay stupid money for experimental masks. If one turns up at a good price, I'll get them. As I said, I was wearing this earlier, which is a mask not many people know about, despite the fact it's apparently really common. So, you know, again, it's just a case of if I spot something at a good price, I'll get it, but I'm not going to spend hundreds of pounds for a semi-rare mask. A replica of what? Or do you mean for a helmet to learn a lot? Yeah, that's alright. I must say there's been some weird messages in the chat tonight. Maybe 6 PM is when you get lots of strange people, no offence to anybody particularly in the chat, but generally I don't start getting the random messages until quite a bit into the stream. Soviet civil defense poster that shows all the Soviet sort of civilian gas masks, GP5, GP5M, PDF, GP4, different types of PDF. Mask that says P2 is like the Y2K, PY60M, and there's the PTM1 there. So most of the masks on that poster I've got hanging up around the poster. Helped my mate walk the dogs earlier, even though it was raining, so wore some rain gear for that. Filmed a video earlier today on that dosimeter pen, you know, that Polish one where you hold it up to the light, and did a thing, you know, demonstrating how we did it in the stream of how you zero it and all that. But otherwise not much really, no. Alright, cool, Jacob. I don't really like the Metro games, Biggie, so as I said, I won't live stream them. I don't have anything against them, by the way, it's just that out of Metro and Stalker, I like Stalker a lot more. And generally the problem I've had is where people keep coming on asking when I'm going to play Metro, or why don't I like the Metro games more, and well, because personal opinion, I'm not a massive fan of them. But then people keep bringing it up. Yeah, exactly, Mike. I said, like, I've done stuff today, it's just, you know, on those days where I've not done much, but I kind of like that, you know. When I've been working the weekend, I've had a day where I've had a very relaxed day where, you know, I slowly do things throughout the day. Well, although it's not the first game, it's the third game in the series, Jacob, Call of Pripyat is actually the one that works best out the box, so I'd recommend that to people, because I think some people we put off if they try and play Shadow of Chernobyl first, and then they have to install lots of mods to get it running properly. Interesting, so your FMJ05, does that have rubber straps then? Because mine has fabric straps, but I suppose mine's not the military one, is it? It's technically an MF11, whatever they call it. But yeah, mine definitely has fabric straps on mine. Wow, Dylan, I think you're on purposely misrepresenting me there, because if you remember, I've always bitched about the gas mask mechanics in Metro because of the stupid filters expiring in 5 minutes thing. Start buying it, Zeppelin. That's all I can suggest. That's very strange, yeah, because like I said, when I shave my hair short, I generally don't have problems with masks, but again, like GP7s, which is no longer there, it's there now, isn't it? The GP7 and the PMK1, the rubber straps on that I really hate, because even where I have my hair short, I find they pull at my hair quite a lot. Barely looked into it, so I can't tell you anything about the new Call of Duty. I know there was a trailer with like the SAS in it or something, but I've not looked into it and I won't be buying it. There you go, there's my attitude on it. Last Call of Duty game I played and actually liked was Black Ops. You know, in the original Black Ops. Not Black Ops 2 or anything like that. Yeah, I know that, Biggie Cheese, that's my point, but when people say it's really realistic and then I point out why it's not, and then they go, but no, it's realistic, you just don't understand. That sort of annoys me. Well, I was working the weekend, but I'm not working now other than doing my YouTube stuff, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. Very, very busy at work. Never played DayZ. I haven't got the paid for version, but I did try and install it as a mod for Arma 2 and it never seemed to work properly when I did that. You'd have to ask your archery range, Zeppelin, because a lot of archery clubs disallow crossbows. Sometimes it's on a power limit thing, other times it's just because they don't like people using crossbows when it's meant to be recurve bows or long bows kind of thing. Why don't you get some Polish FB5 filters, quick boy? Because there's no point really buying GOST filters when, other than the modern Russian ones, they're totally an obsolete sort of filter type. It very much could be, Daniel. That's the reason I never really got into archery properly in terms of archery clubs, because my most local archery club, I don't know if it still exists, when I went there, the people there were really snobbish, you know, and it just completely put new people off. And it was one of those funny groups where they were totally complaining, and on one hand, why don't new people join our groups, and then when they had open days, all they did was bitch at people and talk about how they didn't like certain things, you know. So it was obvious why people didn't get into it, because, you know, the people doing it were just really, really boring sort of snobs. If there was more fun, this is the thing I've already said about a lot of these groups, as long as they take the safety stuff seriously, but they actually, you know, make it fun, then they'd get people into it. But when it's one of those groups, you know, where they just are completely like, no, you need a bow with this much draw length and this much power draw, and you must make sure you hold your fingers properly on the string as you pull it back. When they have that sort of, you know, that attitude, it's no wonder they piss people off. Avon CT12 Jorgo, if I'm pronouncing your name right. Yeah, I quite like Brent's videos. He does loads of camo tests, doesn't he? Yeah, I do like how lots of old military tech feels like, especially the old Bakelite stuff that's really heavy and clunky. Like, for practicality, I'd much rather use my SOX Geiger counter because it's small, it takes AAA batteries, you know. It works very reliably, it's very sensitive. But in terms of, like, just the really fucking cool feel of it, I love old, like, the massive Bakelite heavy Geiger counters. Alright, Peach, if I didn't say hello. GP5. GP4 isn't very good at making a good face seal. GP5 is much better because it pulls tight to your face. Over 100 kill strike and I've stopped counting. No, I don't. Do you mean like a full size bow? That one there I think is called an Initech, the biggest recurve I've got, and that's fairly good. I like that one. But I don't shoot it much, and the weather's been really crap recently. It's been raining all day here, by the way, for anybody interested. No, I haven't heard of that one. I'll Google it. Living Museum of the North. Let me have a look where it is on the map. Well, the only problem is it's near Newcastle, isn't it? Now I'm looking at it. I'm very, very far south of that, so I need to be up there on holiday really to justify going that far north somewhere. Because, you know, it's even further away than Leeds, and if I was going up that far, I'd want to go to Leeds Armoury or something. But thanks for the suggestion anyway. I wouldn't advise breathing through that then if anything's coming out of it. As far as I'm aware, it's not asbestos on the old hoses like that one. You know, like if you see the one I'm pointing to on the GP4, I'm pretty sure it is just. I'm pretty sure it's stockinette because they used to use stockinette on old masks and things and hoses. But yeah, if anything like that is ever coming off, don't breathe through it because obviously, even if it's not asbestos, fiberglass going into your lungs is bad. Stockinette going into your lungs is bad. Cotton fibers going into your lungs is bad. Just don't risk it. That's cool. What phone did you get, Peach? Well, enjoy Killshot Pro while you're in it. If you check my community tab, you'll find out when my live streams are, because I normally post on there. I don't always do that, but I generally do. The only time I don't post on there is if it's quite last minute that I end up doing a live stream for the day, because then I'll normally just quickly say to everyone on the Discord server I'm going on, but otherwise I don't really announce it because I don't have time. I've got a Hungarian M76, whatever it's called. Visually I really like it, but design-wise I don't, because it's from the same period of lots of the Soviet civil defense masks. Obviously Hungary was occupied by the communists during that period, and they made PMGs for the military, yet the actual civil defense mask has a really bad face seal, and I've got a size 4 and it's still too small for me. Don't breathe through the GP5 filter then, Killshot. As in the game rust? No, I've got rust on some items in my house though. Also, one thing I did have to do today, Mike, I had to pay £145 car tax for this year for my car, because apparently my car tax expires in July, which I completely forgot about. So I had a letter in the post saying, don't forget your car tax expires in like 3 weeks. I was like, oh yeah, it does, right, better get my card out and pay for that now. No, I don't actually know what you mean by that, Laser Point Productions, but it sounds interesting. Also, I've got something very interesting coming tomorrow. Well, the annoying thing, Mike, is if we go back a few years ago, my car tax should be £30 a year, because it's an environmentally friendly engine. But then, because they weren't getting enough tax, the fucking Tories did this thing, and this isn't a politics stream, but I'm just going to complain about the Tories for a bit. They did this thing where they made it so all cars had a minimum tax band again that was much higher. Because a while ago they used to do it where the road tax was based on how polluting your engine was. So when I had the 1.8 Golf, that was 230 quid a year. But on my current car, I think it should have been in the £30 bracket, because some really good eco cars had free road tax, and I think £30 was the first bracket, and you know, then it went up in prices. But now it's all bloody, like 145, I think, is the minimum now. Polish MS4 filters, there's never been lab tests done on them, so I can't advise you to use it or not use it. Oh, you mean like the CDV Geiger counters, whatever they're called? Yeah, they look really cool. Obviously, make sure if you're getting one, you get one that you have the probe on, not the one that's just the gamma unit, because some of them are just the gamma ionization sort of bit. They don't have the bit on them. But, you know, if you get one, make sure you get the one that has the beta wand on it, or even an alpha probe. The best ones are the ones with the alpha probes, but sadly they're very hard to find. You can't find them in the UK at all. Well, it wouldn't be fun if you got hit in the eye with that, crazy Scott. Interesting enough, Shot Zombie, I might go on holiday to Ukraine next year. Because I wanted to go to America, and I was planning on saving up for that. But then my dad said, could we go on holiday to Ukraine and go to Chernobyl? I was like, sure. So, yeah, next year maybe there'll be videos of me in the exclusion zone. Weirdly enough, my dad hasn't even watched the Chernobyl TV series, but he's just suddenly got really interested in Chernobyl again. I don't know why. Yeah, so it's from 1984, don't breathe for it. Yeah, I know about that mask Ween, but I've never seen them for sale, sadly. But yeah, if you go on some Russian websites, you can find a lot of modern Russian masks. And yeah, it's literally, isn't it? It's like a PMK or GP7's XL valve, the triangular, not XL valve, sorry, voice diaphragm, the triangular PMK lenses, but it's otherwise a shum style mask. It looks really cool actually, but what, the chunk of graphite that you could buy on eBay for like £2,000. Yeah, I posted that on the Discord, but I'm not going to buy that. I'm assuming, though, it's just a graphite bit that was never even put into a reactor, that was just in a storage shed someone found. Yeah, I've been to Bovington years ago. I'd love to go again, but that would be a full day out thing. It's near Weymouth, isn't it? So that is doable for me. If I got up 3 hours before I needed to be there, I could drive over in the morning, spend all day there, and then drive back in the evening. But I'd have to get a couple of friends who want to be on. You donate to me, Ween. That's how you do it. Yep. Have you started reading yet Australian Prepper about neutron bombs? Because they're fascinating. Ooh, I almost pulled the microphone and my cup of coffee off there where my leg got caught on my headphone cable. Now, I tend not to go on Reddit Laser Point Productions, but they sound interesting. So they like creepypasta things, do you reckon? I mean, I've seen some really stupid videos on YouTube where people decide to go into the basement of Pripyat Hospital and they're wandering around without even any, like, protective gear on, while their Geiger counters go crazy, like, poking the fireman's boots, where you can see there's graphite on them and, like, you know, bits of the reactor. The Geiger's going insane. You know, they're getting, like, several sieverts on there. And they're going, oh, look! Boots! There's one where this guy spends like 10 minutes just wandering around the basement while his Geiger goes absolutely insane. So, you know, I'm sure he's going to get some sort of cancer in a few years from doing that. What was that Bovington shot zombie? Or something else? Right, a neutron bomb, I'll give you a brief thing on it, Australian. What it is it's luckily they didn't mass produce them, but it was a pretty horrible idea. So the neutron bomb, the idea was it was massive amounts of radiation, but a very small explosion. Kind of like a dirty bomb, but the whole point was it was ionizing. So I assume it was gamma X-rays, neutrons, that kind of thing. So the idea was that you could drop it on a city, you could wipe everybody out with radiation in the city, and then within a certain time period you wouldn't have done that much damage to buildings. But because of the latency period of radiation poisoning, it's why they decided never to use neutron bombs, because they were worried that you could neutron bomb like massive amounts of enemy troops. Those troops would be sick with radiation poisoning for about a day or two. Then they get into the latency period where they knew in about a week they'd die horribly from radiation, and then they'd just berserk charge you. But yeah, Bovington's definitely worth doing a shot zombie if you're ever near it. Weirdly enough, when we went to when we went to Bovington years ago, they asked my dad if he could take part in like a thing there where he got to run out of an APC holding a rifle while they had a dueling Leopard and Chieftain tank, which was pretty cool. And he really enjoyed that, even though he claims to be a pacifist, which I don't think he is, because he loves now and again holding rifles and stuff like that. No, if you donate $1, you can get on Weempool. I just make sure that people, you know, only donators get on, because it's kind of like a donation perk. Is that the one that has some of the really cool prototype tanks, Shot Zombie? Because isn't there a Russian one that has, like, what they call them, like, objects, and then the numbers, like, all the really cool Soviet prototype tanks? Yeah, that's very cool. But yeah, I'd appreciate Bovington Tank Museum if I went back there a bit more now, because when I went to Bovington I was definitely under 18 at the time. Well, I'm pretty sure I was. I can't remember now, to be all honesty, but I think it was probably when I was like 16 or 17, and because I have a much bigger interest in military stuff now, I'd find it more and more fascinating. Yeah, what you need to do is you would donate, and then on a regular video, not this one, you make a comment saying this is my Discord username and the digits, and then I can add you to my friends list and invite you to the server. That's the easiest way I've found of doing it. Yeah, I'm not a massive expert on Discord, but yeah, don't expect a server where I chat to people constantly. It's basically a server where people can post surplus and discuss about it, or just chat in general, or post memes on different channels. And then there is a voice channel, which I very rarely go in and chat with people, which I want to do more often, but it's just arranging with people when to do it, and I always forget. Well, if you're in the blast zone of a 15 megaton bomb, you'd be dead, wouldn't you? That's the simple answer. If you're really close, you'll be in the fireball range, where you'll pretty much evaporate. If you're a bit further away, you'll get horrible flash burns, and then if you survive those, you'll get wiped out by the force of the blast. But 15 megatons is pretty massive. I mean, that's what Castle Bravo's size, wasn't it? 15 megaton. And if you look on Google Earth, you can see the like almost 2-mile crater in the middle of the island where Bravo was detonated. Yeah, I comment in chat, but I don't comment, like I'm saying, on voice chat as often as I should do. Because I wouldn't mind having a voice chat with people more often, because that's sometimes quite a good laugh when we've done it every now and then. But what I mean is, yeah, I'll post on the chat sometimes, but what I normally do with Discord is how I use Discord generally. Is I open up Discord at different times of day, reply to interesting things on there if I see them, then I close Discord again. That's sort of how I use Discord. Yeah, that was horrible, wasn't it? Yeah, so for the people who don't know what Laser Point Production's on about, is there was a criticality accident in a Japanese, was it like a nuclear enrichment plant or something like that, when they were pouring some stuff into some barrels or something. And this guy got a fatal dose of radiation, but what they did was they kept him alive as long as possible in hospital to basically study the effects of radiation on humans. So they basically used him as a human guinea pig. Now, if you've watched Chernobyl and you've seen what happened to the firemen, I'm sure you'd be like me, where if you knew you'd been exposed to that amount of radiation, once your health really started deteriorating, I would personally like to be euthanized. You know, given an opioid overdose to be killed, and if that wouldn't work, you know, just shot basically. But what they did with Ouchi, or Uchi, whatever his name was they kept him alive for as long as possible, you know, giving him like blood transfusions, skin transplants and all of that. And then in the end, the doctors realised just how unethical it was keeping him alive when he was just begging for death while he could still talk. You know, like he was literally falling apart. So in the end, yeah, they did let him die. But, you know, up to that point, they kept resuscitating him and everything, despite the fact he was in agony, you know, and literally falling to pieces. Yeah, don't forget to like the video, everybody. It does help, and you means you'll get recommended more things. Yeah, basically what happened, I can't give you the exact details, Australian Prepper, because I don't know. But I have a feeling in the Bravo casing, they had to put a certain amount of nuclear material. And one of the materials they thought they could use as a filler that wouldn't really react in any way, but, you know, it would work in the casing. And instead, yeah, it reacted a lot more than they thought. So it was planned to be about a 5 or 6 megaton explosion. It turned into a 15 megaton explosion. So yeah, because it was a 15 megaton ground burst, it made loads of radioactive material. Blasted a huge hole in the bit of the island they were testing it on. Right, glad you enjoyed the videos, Gurgo, if I'm pronouncing your name right. Yeah, it was the Marshall Islands, which was Bikini Atoll, or Bikini Islands, yeah. But they're called the Marshall Islands, but yeah, Bikini Atoll was where most of the tests happened. No, I might collect ammo cans at some point. Now, tell you what I'll do. Let me have a look on eBay right now. I'll take my glasses off, because people are like, oh, I can see your bank details when you, searching. So, ammo box. Let's have a look for a small size ammo box. I'm looking for one that's not huge. Lots of ones coming up are 50 cal boxes, which are pretty big. Right, I can get a US 7.62 ammo box for $11.99, so I might do that. What I'm going to do is buy that, and then I'm going to put my radioactive materials in it, just so they're stored in something a bit better than a paper bag. When should that come? Thursday this week. Excellent. Right, let me buy it now, and then I'll go back to the chat. So yeah, with the postage on, that's about £14. Let me just check my payment details are correct, because I had my new debit card arrive recently, so... Yep. Confirm and pay. $14.89 in total, that's not too bad, and then it means I've got a nice box for my radioactive materials. And if I wanted to, I could always actually put that lead in there. I might actually cut some of that lead, with a respirator on obviously, and wrap that inside the box if I want to be really thorough storing radioactive materials in there. But anyway, I always buy things during these streams because we end up chatting about stuff and then I get interested in it. So for the person that asked about ammo cans, I will soon have one and you can see some radioactive shit inside it. Why would the 50 cal boxes not be as secure? Yeah, I think it's really fucked up to learn a lot. You know, just as I said, in the scenario where you know somebody is definitely going to die, and they're going to be in horrible, horrible pain and waste away like that, I would always say you should euthanize them when it gets, you know, with their consent, especially if they can give you consent. But, you know, say to them, look, you're not going to recover, you're going to die horribly and slowly. You know, please sign a form so when you're past the stage of, you know, seeing your family and everything, we'll give you a lethal dose of morphine or something, so you slip away as peacefully as possible. I'm somewhat popular in terms of YouTube subscribers and stuff like that, if that's what you mean. It'd be nice when I get to 100k, and then on that wall there I can put my silver button when it finally arrives. Over 100 Gurgo, but I can't tell you the exact number because I don't know anymore. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'll get a radioactive decal sticker. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Stick that on there. Because I'll have that uranium glass stuff coming soon as well. I'll put in there. But streaming does seem to help, because it seems YouTube prioritises channels more often now that stream than ones that don't stream. So it seems that, you know, when I stream more often than not, that tends to seem to get more viewers in. And I kind of like this interactive, and I've said before, I do 3 videos a week as usual anyway. But at least when I'm streaming, you know, if I do an hour's stream, there's an hour's worth of content in a sense. Whereas if, like I said before, if I film a 10-minute video, I don't have to edit it, I don't have to render it and hope it doesn't crash during the rendering, I don't have to upload it. It can take me over an hour to make a 10-minute video. Whereas when I'm streaming, if I'm taking an hour of my time to do it, you get an hour's video. Well, very few of my fans have my address because I wouldn't trust giving random people my address, but I've done a couple of unboxing style videos. Yep, I've sadly still not seen any Blumenthal for sale, Shot Zombie. Cheers, Uncle Sasha. Yeah, I'm going to keep at it, Weemple, because as I said, this is a thing I enjoy doing. Like, I really do enjoy making videos and talking about random historical crap. Crap, I like calling it crap, even if some people want to give it a more thorough name than that. Oh, for the people that are worried about the VistaVision hanging up, I don't know if you can see over there, but the VistaVision, the M65 and the Bulgarian PG1 are all sat next to each other on the shelf now, keeping each other company. So none of them have any tension on the straps at all at the moment. Because, yeah, I've organised that now to just be Soviet civil defence masks, like the ones that are on the poster, kind of around it, which I think is quite cool. eBay. If you're actually Australian prepper, you can get the Ozcam NBC suits on eBay. I actually think the World War II German civil defence masks, the Volksmasks or Volksmasks, whatever you want to call them, especially Volksmask 37, is actually better than their military masks in terms of quality of buildmanship and everything. But I think the best World War II mask I've seen out of all of them so far, at least handled myself, is the Finnish one. I'm trying to remember the number of it. But that Finnish, like, civil defence one, which is like a Volksmask, but it's got the much better valve assembly. I'm still plugged into electricity, as you can see, but as I've said, I'm in the Oxfordshire area of the UK, but I won't say more than that. Oh, thanks for telling me, Steve. I'll keep an eye out on that. As said, unfortunately, I've had to pay £145 today on my car tax for the next year. But I will keep an eye on that, because if in another month I've got a load of spare cash, I would definitely buy an FM53. Yeah, there's one for £109 with 17 bids on it, so imagine that will go higher. Another one for £109 with 17 bids on it. One for £490 with 11 bids on it. Bloody hell. So yeah, it looks like they're going to go for quite a lot, and I wouldn't pay that for them. But, you know, I'd pay £100 for one if I could definitely get it for £100. But, yeah, the only thing is YouTube demonetised that one. So, talking about military stuff and people getting irradiated is absolutely fine according to YouTube. Talking about the fact I have to take codeine or whatever as a painkiller, oh my god, opioids, demonetised the stream. Funny that, isn't it? Well, they're different cartridges, so the power of them are different. But if you mean in terms of buildman's quality, I really don't know. It's going to vary a lot from country to country. What, the simple box respirator or simplified box respirator, the World War I one? Yeah, it's a cool mask. If ever a company did reproductions of those for a good price, I'd actually get one. But most of the reproductions I've seen don't look all that good, and they cost like £100, so I'm not paying that. Because I got the cheap PH gas hood for like £30. Well, I'll just keep sticking at it, Uncle Sasha. As I said, I'm just going to stick at it. You know, like I said, my videos... The thing is with my videos, I think I've said this before, I've got a softbox light now and things like that. But there's a level of professionalism I don't want to go over. One, because it would take me a lot longer to make individual videos, and that would start putting me off. And I think a lot of people like the fact that my videos aren't overly too professional. £30 or so for an S6 Maxi Haul. Funnily enough, Geiger I have. But I've got an M56, which is technically a German style helm. I've got a World War II German style helm without a liner that's very rusty. But I do have this. A German style helm converted into a fireman's helmet. No, sadly it's not Shot Zombie. I wish I could make radioactive mugs, because I get a radioactive mug for shits and giggles, but no, it's porcelain, I think. It says dolphin coatings made in China. There you go. Yeah, the thing is, there are very big channels, Uncle Sasha, that have video quality that isn't particularly good. You know, there are some, and I'm not saying that to insult them, I'm just saying, like, there are very big channels where they literally just have a camera on a tripod and they film something in, like, an unedited cut for 10 minutes, so, you know, I don't think on YouTube you specifically have to be good at video editing to get big. I know for some people who have, I don't mean this in a harsh way for people with legitimate attention deficit disorders, but I do think a lot of kids today have real attention issues. So, you know, for them, they're like, why isn't there constantly, like, jump cuts and everything? Because I don't want to make videos like that. Sorry, Maxi, what did you find for £15? Oh, an S6? Well, you can replace the straps on it. And you can probably replace the straps with better straps. So I'd say go for that, yeah, and then just fit your own straps to it. Yeah, I really like Ashen's videos, and again, I assume he does use a softbox light on it now, but for ages, when he got really big, his videos were just literally a dirty sofa as a background, with a camera on a tripod in front of the sofa. Well, I'm going to do some more radioactive videos soon, but I've actually got a bit of lead now, Dylan Glass, which I'm going to demonstrate in a video, because when we refitted some roof tiles, we took a bit of lead down, and I found where that was stored in the garden. So I've moved it under the patio. Then when I get a dry day, I'm going to clean it off, and then maybe hammer it into a bit more of a solid shape, and then I'll be able to use some videos of it. Oh, thanks again, Laserpoint Productions, I really appreciate that. Yeah, the thing is, I wouldn't necessarily be against recording in 4K, but my issue with 4K at the moment is 4K monitors are very expensive, 4K camcorders are very expensive, 4K videos would take even longer to render and upload. So for most people there's no benefit of doing 4K. You know, like, the thing is, when I've got money, sorry, the helmet looks really lopsided and crap at the moment, doesn't it? But when I've got spare money, I'd much rather buy stuff to make videos on than kind of stuff like that. It's like saying softbox is good for stuff, but you know. Graphite, as far as I'm aware, accelerates reactions, doesn't it? Just as boron slows them down. The camera I use, not the webcam I'm using, but my actual camera, and I will upgrade this at some point when I spot a good one, is a Sony Handycam HDR CX240. I use the onboard mic for that because it's good enough. And it's a 1080p camera that films, I think, like 50 or 60 FPS. The camcorder's good enough. I've got some gripes as camcorder, but I might go for a Canon one when I go for a new camcorder. Some videos aren't filmed on this, because like if I'm filming a night vision video, it's not filmed on this. If I'm using my big Sony like 63 times optical zoom camera, that can do video as well, although it's 720p. So sometimes I'll film with that if I'm doing something very specific with a camera, but that's the camcorder I use for most of my videos. Well, I know these bits, I think is the lever at the back is to protect your neck from the heat. I don't know about with the ears, why they don't have bits over the ears on this one. Some probably do, but I'd say that would popularise GP5 fetishes. I don't know, but I don't watch Jake Paul's videos, so I can't really comment. I'll stream tomorrow, Gergo, but I'm not sure the exact time yet. It might just be 8 PM UK time, because I'm not out tomorrow evening. No, I will get ballistic plates at some point, but as said, I've not bothered yet because I've had to pay my car tax today. Next month I'm going to be buying a new PC, hopefully. Oh, well, that's the point. How much are those motherboards going to cost? Because I've heard the motherboards are going to cost quite a lot that the AMD processors fit into. Let me search AMD on news and see if they've got the prices. Apparently they're doing a 3950X as well, which will be 16 cores, but I probably won't need one that good, to be honest, because any of them are going to be such a step beyond my current one. What was the name of those motherboards? Let me just search AMD 7mm motherboards and see if I can find the things. Never mind, I'll find out at some other point. But Germans used the GM30 and the GM38 for the military in World War II. Cheeky breeky Gopnik. It depends. I've not got a Yashenka, so I can't say how good they are. But I imagine it would keep your head nice and warm. I like the look of them. I just get whatever's cheaper at the time, Jacob, to be honest. If steel plates are cheaper at the time, I get steel plates. If ceramic plates are cheaper, I get ceramics. But I don't have any real need for them, that's the thing. You know, I'd like to have a plate carrier set up, but people have asked me before, oh, you're preparing for some sort of shit hits the fan thing? But no. You know, it's nice to have one set up. As I've said before, the body armour I'd most likely wear in some sort of scenario, if I needed to use body armour, is my police vest. You know, like the combined stab and ballistic vest, just because it's lightweight and comfortable. My logo is actually me, with a British Mark II helmet on, a British light anti-gas respirator, with one of those green army jumpers on, holding my SLR that's in the background. Years and years ago, Zeppelin. It's grown over time, and the more popular I get on YouTube, the more it spurs me on to collect more and more crap and run out of space. Sad, well, those are real guns, but deactivated. I've got a couple of airsoft guns, but the problem is, in the UK, to buy realistic airsoft guns, you need a UCARA, and I don't have a UCARA, and I can't be bothered to go through all the hoops of getting a UCARA. For the greater good. Yeah, steel plates would probably block radiation a bit better as well, wouldn't they, Steve, than ceramics? So yeah, I probably, if they're similar prices, be more likely to go for steel, just because, yeah, it'd be harder to break them. I know there are, yeah, definitely older helmets that are designed so you can wear cold weather stuff under them. With S6s, Maxi, if you get the straps that fit the FM12 or the S10, I'm pretty sure you could rig that up to the S6. The S6 straps by default are a bit crap. It's just a 6-point elastic buckle kind of thing. But you know, if you put better harnesses on it, it'd be a much better mask. While any soldier that has a helmet compared to not having a helmet is going to be much more likely to survive shrapnel flying around and like bits of debris and everything. You can wean, but I have no idea how you go about getting that, because it's quite complicated, because I've sort of looked into that before. I'm a member of a theatre group, and we can actually buy replica blank firers and everything through the theatre group, but again, we looked into that and it's really complicated, so we never bothered. Because they pretended it solved violent crime, Zeppelin. Generally, my streams are the most popular when I just end up doing a stream at a time when lots of people watch. Generally, Sunday evenings tend to be when they're the busiest. Yep, take the straps off the S10, and then you should be able to rig it up somehow, Maxi. No, I've got a Lee Enfield up there covered in Soviet masks, so I don't have a Moss in the gun. But yeah, I think in theory, the S10 strap should fit it with a... You know, you might have to mess about a little bit of cable ties or something, but you should be able to rig the S10 straps up, because there's the same number of straps. Mostly online off of eBay. So I can tell you that I've bought loads and loads and loads of stuff from eBay in the past, and nearly all of it's been good. What time zone are you in, Uncle Sasha? Yeah, exactly. There was a thing recently, Comrade Who, which Weapon Collector's been saying about, where they're saying in the UK now they might ban Rambo knives. And the police bloke even said, "Oh, I know that most stabbings are committed with kitchen knives, but kitchen knives aren't intended to kill people. Rambo knives are." You're only 2 hours after me then. So yeah, if I streamed at 8 PM, it'd be 10 PM where you are. No, what's that, Daniel? Work part-time, I do YouTube, a couple of other, like, very small things. You could probably somehow modify it to take straps, but there's no point. There's an interesting prototype mask I think I've seen before, which looks like a GP5 up until the bit where the hood starts, but it has straps on. But I think it actually works better as a hood. But here's the thing, just punish the people who commit the crimes, not everybody else, because otherwise the list is never going to end of, this is the latest fashionable knife for stabbings. Even though, again, it's no more effective at stabbing people than a kitchen knife is. Yep, I've already filmed the video on them Laser Point Productions. I'll tell you the date that video goes live. The problem is, because I'm kind of like a month in advance at making videos, in case I ever get ill and can't do videos for a bit with my UC or something else, or I end up being really busy with, you know, like a family emergency or whatever. My videos are filmed well in advance. The Polish FP203 filter, the big red one, that is scheduled for June the 26th. So that is Wednesday in 2 weeks' time. There you go. If you want to see that video, that's when it goes up. What's my next video, just to let people know who are interested? The video that comes out this Wednesday is on the Belgian BEM 4GP, doing helmet and gas mask. Not, well, that is a gas mask, but doing helmet compatibility tests, which is surprising because it works surprisingly well with different helmets. So that might interest some people, because I think that was a requested video. There's a video that's coming out on June the 14th, which a lot of people might not be interested in. This Friday. It's just because people said, could I do some more crossbow and air rifle videos? It's just a 1-minute video where me and some friends were shooting some crossbows and air rifles. So, you know, it's lots of quick cuts, just targets falling over and getting shot with air rifles and crossbows. But, again, that might not interest some people, but, you know, it's just going to be there. So, sorry if some people consider it a bit of a filler video, but a few people did request some air rifle and crossbow videos, so I just got a load of footage quickly filmed on my mobile phone and amalgamated it into one video. Hello, Le Monsieur. I don't know, it depends if you believe in ghosts. I assume you mean haunted, not hunted. Wow, actual fake toy gas mask, no. If somebody's selling a real gas mask and saying it's a toy, then yes. Alright, I'll quickly Google her. No, it's actually a bloke, sorry. Yeah. So he fought in World War II and Vietnam. That's very interesting. And he's the only member of the SS to be in Arlington National Cemetery. Oh, that's interesting. So he fought for Finland, fought for Nazi Germany, and then fought for the US. There's an interesting thing. There was lots of US Vietnam vets that then fought for Rhodesia before Rhodesia turned into Zimbabwe. In theory, I think they're trying to develop different stuff, Uncle Sasha, for filters, but as far as I'm aware at the moment, there's only activated charcoal, but I think there's been, like, development done into, like, some superfine metal particulates that would work, or something, to block vapours, but at the moment the only thing that does block vapours, as far as I'm aware, is activated charcoal that's been impregnated with different things. I don't have a problem with surplus stores selling Nazi stuff if they want to. You know, it's a free market, they should be allowed to sell it. It's still historical goods, isn't it? Cool. Have you tested them, Spike EVC? Because sometimes I worry when you see some of that stuff if it's actually not going to work. But if you got a couple of spares and then tested them, that'd be very interesting. Yep, if you block the exhale valve on a gas mask mason, it'll make a farting noise. Yep, lots of people on here call me Liam, so online I get called my real name, but it would be weird if somebody came up to me and said, hey, it's Weapons and Stuff 93, that would be strange. Yeah, that's cool, it's just one of those things where if I had spare trauma plates, I'd definitely do some tests on them. That's cool, 64 system. You mean the XM27 Ween? But yeah, it's very rarely XM27. No, I obviously don't have lung cancer. Good evening, Richard. I might only be on for a few more minutes, I'm afraid. As long as you're not a special Uncle Sasha. But I don't know if you'll get that joke, that's quite a British joke. Special uncle. I don't think if anybody buys a random Nazi object, it's going to convert them into a Nazi comrade who. I don't think it works like that. I've got lots of Soviet gear and I don't like communism, you know. But again, people should be free to believe in what ideologies they want. We shouldn't try and force people not to believe in certain things by, like, the threat of jail and things like that, because that generally always backfires. And then it restricts innocent people from just talking about certain things. Yep, but I'll be on about 10:30, Mike. Let's say, don't start it until 10:30 if that's fine for you. Because I'll be at the rehearsal till around 10 o'clock, then I've got to get back, then I might make myself a drink or something or whatever before I come on to the PC. But yeah, by about 10:30 I'll be online. Right, it's good for me then, Mike. Well, there's one on the shelf over there. I really like the Draeger M65, but sadly it doesn't fit me very well, so I can't get a good airtight seal with it. But it was quite a cool mask when it was designed. That's cool. Interesting bit of history. Yeah, there's a difference between finding history interesting, isn't there, and like being one of those people that goes, ooh, you know, ooh, Heil whatever leader of different dictator countries. But you know, that's the thing, is the more you generally read about a lot of these countries, you'll probably be less sympathetic for it. The people who seem to be really pro-Soviet Union are generally the people who don't know much about the Soviet Union. One I found really funny was when somebody was trying to say the Soviet Union was brilliant because they had really good LGBTQ rights, and I was like, what? You couldn't be openly gay in the Soviet Union. That was not allowed. I might do another Halloween costume video this year, Uncle Sasha. Maybe one with this, because I think this would look good, like Mike was saying, and a few other people early in the stream, as a Halloween mask. Oh, maybe they unsubbed you, Mace, but thanks again for subbing. That's a pretty conservative estimate, isn't it? 8 million people shot zombie? Could be up to 50 million, but yeah, regardless, it was bad. Opinions on the GP4, there's one on my wall. I don't think it's as good as the GP5, but at least the Soviets made a civil defense mask and mass-produced it. Yeah, if you talk to people who lived through it, because often in the UK we get people from former Eastern Bloc countries, some of them fled at the time and lived in the UK, others came afterwards, they have very mixed feelings on it. Some of them will say there were good things about it, you know, like everybody had a house, everybody had a job, you know, there were good things, but at the same time, you were worried that your neighbours might inform on you, or that, you know, somebody would be jealous of you and then say something that would get you sent away with no evidence. You know, there was lots of repressions of people's actual nationalities and things like that. Lots of Polish people said, you know, they hated that they had to learn Russian and, you know, weren't openly allowed to speak Polish. There was lots of stuff like that. Yeah, you won't be able to post links in the chat, Ween. It automatically deletes your comments if you do that. I have no control over that. When you say enjoyed living in ex-Yugoslavia, do you mean when it became different countries after Yugoslavia, or do you mean they liked living it when it was Yugoslavia? But, you know, like I said, there's lots of reasons people could have mixed feelings on it, because there were things, you know, in most of these dictator kind of authoritarian states, there are some advantages to living in it. Like, there's generally very little organised crime. You know, there's like lots of stuff like that where I imagine you'd feel really safe going out on the streets at night, because there's never any like petty crime with people like mugging you or like, you know, that kind of stuff, because the governments are just so in control. Avon CT12 Australian Prepper. Yeah, I've got Gas Mask King bookmarks. I have never bought anything from there, but it's good, isn't it, for looking at like the rotating head of the different masks, where he's got like the big catalogue of different masks. Dream job, I don't really know, Uncle Sasha, because I like doing the YouTube stuff, so if I got a lot more from YouTube, that would be really good. But in terms of a job I'd really like to do, I'd like a job where I could wear NBC gear and a gas mask and kind of like clean up dirty environments. If that was a good paying job, and I could get a job doing that, and it would like clean up certain areas, I think that'd be a really good job for me, but... Which video is that? I watched the ones you posted about the interrogations laser point production, and the other one about, like the Comrade Snafu one, but is this a different one? Which video was it? If you've got a mask for airsoft, as long as you've reinforced the lenses or they're made from a material that won't crack when hit by BBs, it's cool, I don't have a problem with that. The only issue I have is when people don't do anything with the lenses and then they risk having their eyes, you know, damaged. Oh, I think I've seen that video before. Is that the one that shows you about, like, the household chemicals that you can use and about putting rags by the windows and all that, the black and white American, like, training film? I've not watched that if you've posted it recently, but I have seen that one before. I prefer dogs, shot zombie, but I quite like cats as well. I like both, but if I had the choice between owning a dog or owning a cat, I'd much rather own a dog, like a German Shepherd or something. Lots of insecticides are toxic, yeah. That's actually a very useful civil defence video, isn't it? Because it gives you some really good advice in that. But lots of insecticides and pesticides and things have been linked to cancers and poisonings and things like that. And another thing is, when Britain developed GB nerve agent, not GB, sorry, that's sarin, isn't it? That was developed by Nazi Germany. What was it? It was one of the V agents. Was it VG nerve agent? I think it was VG nerve agent. When Britain developed that, it was because they released a pesticide onto the market that turned out to be incredibly poisonous. And then Porton Down investigated it and found they could, like, turn it into nerve agent, basically. So I think VX was developed by the US, but VG, I think, was developed by Britain when they literally found that there was a pesticide that you could buy that was incredibly poisonous. You must have been a fun guy then, Shot Zombie. Doo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Right, see you, Ryder. No, my Google account is just a Google account, because all YouTube stuff is linked into your Google account. It's a very strange question to ask. Yeah. Have you seen the Davy Crockett one, where it tells them after shooting the nuclear warhead, after a few minutes it will be fine to enter the irradiated area? There's a lot of bullshit they did do like that. Well, at the moment it's 23 degrees centigrade, but last summer there was a couple of days that got to around 40 degrees. That's a political and religion question, isn't it, Uncle Sasha? But I'll say to you, people can believe in what they want as long as they don't force it on other people. I don't mind if people are Christian, Buddhist, atheist, Muslim, you know, whatever, Jewish, whatever. As long as they don't force it down other people's throats, you know, or commit violence because of their religion. People can believe in what they want or not believe in what they want, you know. As I said, I'm fairly libertarian when it comes to all that sort of stuff. But if they start pushing it on other people, that's when I've got a problem. Yep, there was a thing called radioactive quackery ages ago, 64 system, where loads and loads of products were irradiated on purpose because people used to think radiation was good for you. Yeah, and they've caused lots of damage to bee populations, haven't they, Cass? Anyway, I'll finish the stream now because I've gone for an hour and 7 minutes and I need to go to rehearsal this evening. I don't know if you can paint a GP5, you'd have to try it. But anyway, thanks for the donations, everybody. Actually, I think it might have just been Laser who did all the donations tonight, but thanks to him because I really appreciate all of those. The live stream I do tomorrow might just be another random live stream with no topic, just like tonight's one, where we can chat about random stuff. We're doing like a summer show, like a comedy farce sort of summer show sort of thing, where we raise a bit of money for charity and everything. Because I normally do pantos in a summer show with like a local amateur dramatics troupe, so it's just, you know, like a 2-hour rehearsal tonight where we run through the whole thing. Yeah, I've got Fiesta ware in my radiation thing, which is where they made dinner plates and cups out of radioactive material, uranium glazed stuff, because why not? Thanks again, Laser Point. I do really appreciate your donations. As I said, I've got that cool detector thing coming tomorrow, so I'll make sure I'll probably show that in tomorrow evening's stream. Actually, the detector, where it shows you how much dust and like crap is in the air. It's like a Geiger counter, but for dust and particulate pollutants. So anyway, thanks everybody, and I will see you tomorrow for another live stream. Goodbye.